So, was it today? Yes, whenever it was. I posted a fuckology quote. And the fuckology quote is fuck everyone who makes you feel like you aren't good enough. And it was so interesting because the minute I posted it, I was thinking, I know there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are going to say, but Mark, you create your own emotions. How could anybody do anything to you? So I thought, let me talk about it. Because of course, a whole bunch of people did of course post about it and did say that. So in certain organizations like Nixium, for instance, ESP, the proof as to why you caused your emotions and nobody else did is that given the same stimulus, two or more different people are going to respond differently. So the idea was, well, if that's true, that means that each of those people is creating their own experience of the stimulus. Like somebody says something, they see something, and different people respond differently. So the idea is, well, clearly you're the one having the reaction. It's happening inside of your body, so it's your creation. And you could go so far as to say, look, mechanically, the thing you're feeling happens inside of your body, and nobody seems to be doing something to the insides of your body, so clearly you're the one creating it. But if you understand the work of like Ivan Pavlov, stimulus response, you understand that people have these deep, unconscious, embedded, associative chains of memory so that if they experience something, they have this very predictable response. We know that. So let's say somebody, I don't know, malignant narcissist, abuser, a cult leader, whatever, has a deep understanding of this. And they know that most people are sort of like predictable AI. And if they understand what people's wounds are and what their fears are and et cetera, they know that if they say a certain thing or do a certain thing, the person's going to have a certain response. And what this perspective of you create your own reality and you create your own emotions doesn't take into account is there are people that know how to play the piano of your emotions very, very well. And they extract information from you, and they know if they do certain things, you're going to unconsciously respond. So the idea that, well, it doesn't matter because you create your own emotions, it doesn't really apply in reality, because in reality, we're just responding all the time. And let me just put a pause on that. It's not to say that we're not responsible. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is people that know how to play the instrument of our emotions can do a whole bunch of things. If that wasn't the case, then why the advertising industry? It's a billion-dollar industry. It is predicated on the idea that if you can leverage people's insecurities, you can get them to buy certain things. If you can show them the lack in their life, their whatever it is, you can get them to buy your product. And if they think that if they buy that product, they're going to feel better. So the entire advertising industry is based on that. I mean, intelligence, torture, all these manipulative tactics that people do, it's based on the idea that, not that you create your own emotions, but that people are, as they say in the cult, stimulus response machines. So if you understand that, you can play them. So it worries me sometimes when people come back with these trite, but you create your own emotions, because literally it creates a blindness to these abusive tactics, because you're not going to see, if you just hold that idea, you're not going to see necessarily the person that does know how to play you. And it's simple. There's certain people that if you flatter them, they respond a certain way. If you raise an eyebrow, they respond a certain way. If you sort of pause for a moment and you look like you have some doubt, they might feel afraid. So the problem with this is that people that are abusing with this understanding sometimes will even say these things. Religious leaders, cult leaders will say, well, listen, you create your own emotions. Now, what they're doing at the same time as they say that is they're doing things to you that you're having normal human responses to. And then they're saying to you, but you create your own emotions. You have to become aware of that. Doesn't matter what anybody's doing. In essence, doesn't matter what I'm doing to you. And they get to sort of mask their abuse. So it's a tricky thing. And of course, yes, we're responsible. Do we, in the end, create our own emotions? Do we, in the end, create our own emotions? Yeah, but if you understand how coercion works, you understand that you can actually, unfortunately, play people because of our deep embedded, you know, neurological patterns that we have. It's tricky, and I would urge people not just to sort of tritely say you create, it's all just you, it's all just you, it's all just you, because you're maybe blinding yourself, and you're certainly blinding other people to abuse that could be happening. And often the abusers are masquerading as these spiritual bullshit leaders. That's all.